My brothers and sisters, may the Lord be with you. A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Mark. The disciples had forgotten to bring bread, and they only had one loaf with them in the boat. Jesus enjoined them, "Watch out, guard against the leaven of the Pharisees and the leaven of Herod." They concluded among themselves that it was because they had no bread. When he became aware of this, he said to them, "Why do you conclude that it is because you have no bread? Do you not yet understand or comprehend? Are your hearts hardened? Do you have eyes and not see, and ears and not hear? And do you not remember when I broke the 5 loaves for the 5,000, how many wicker baskets full of fragments you picked up?" They answered him, 12. "When I broke the 7 loaves for the 4,000, how many full baskets of fragments did you pick up?" They answered him, 7. He said to them, "Do you still not understand?" The Gospel of the Lord. Perhaps one of the most comforting principles of the Gospels is its being true and honest to the truth, even though sometimes people would find it very difficult to accept such truth. And so, for example, in a society which was very heavily male-dominated and the witness of women would not be recognized, it is a woman who first witnesses to the event, which is fundamental to faith, the resurrection of Jesus. And even though sometimes people would try to be politically correct or kind of gloss things over to give a better picture, we don't see the apostles as superhuman men as they're described to us in the course of the gospel story. We see all of their flaws and all of their weaknesses. We recognize that in fact they are no better or no worse than we are. We find as well that the same group of apostles during the course of that journey with Jesus never quite get it, even right to the end. There's allusions to in the time of Jesus' ascension, where they're still asking the question, when are you going to bring the kingdom back? When are we going to take over the country again? And so we just don't quite get it. And we see a classic example of that today in this segment from Mark's Gospel, as they're in the boat with Jesus and kind of battling among themselves about the fact there's only one loaf of bread that they have to share. Jesus uses this as an opportunity again to kind of refocus them and say, don't you just see? Look what I've done in the past. Look how I was able to take care of people. Don't you recognize in faith what is possible if you have faith and you stay true to me? And of course, the one good thing about those apostles are that despite the fact they didn't totally get it and sometimes misunderstood and sometimes walked away, bottom line, they did remain faithful. They did remain faith-filled. And so it took a lifetime of God's grace operating in them to make the transition and change, to make them almost the superhumans that they were. Same thing is true for you and me. We have our weaknesses, our failures, our frailties. God knows that. We know that. And yet God sees the potential of what we have to offer if we only are willing to allow him to work through us and allow his grace to be manifested in us. And so we pray today for a strengthening of our faith, that we too might be, even when it's difficult for the signs around us to do so, to be faith-filled and faithful.